Live.
We live. What up?
What up?
How's everybody?
A bit of a rough starting, but best as any. Welcome to episode 20.
Episode 20, yeah,
Deep Seated Podcast. What's going on, fam?
Oh, just living, enjoying the fucking snow day.
Oh, yeah? Did you go do some snow angels?
Had to, with my car.
Yeah. I fucking wanted to so bad last night, but I continued doing what I was doing.
Dude, it was like, open the window, like, holy fuck, it's been snowing. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I just looked outside like half an hour ago. Mic check. Hey, that's good.
All right, word.
Man.
Sorry, I'm not usually gonna try to be all on my phone and stuff, but I just updated the whole back end of everything, so I had to make sure the levels are fine. If anything sucks, let me know. But
the hate wave will come.
Of the
shit sounds like shit, bro.
Of the massive amount of people that are listening so far. Hey man, I'm grateful for anybody that is listening.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there was like we just got that like little tiny
Random
spurt
dump
of snow like a week ago, maybe. And then it was just like slush instantly the next day.
And that one, it started when I was at work too. I was outside and I was like, oh God, this is so shit.
It's one of those ones where you're almost like, just actually snow, because that like powdery, like, you know what I mean?
It's not as bad.
It's the not heavy as wet. Bad. Oh,
yeah,
the slush, right?
Slush.
So freaking, and then it all went away within 2 days. Cleared up, sun came out.
Yeah, 100%.
100% was gone. And then just freaking last night, I was cleaning up my apartment and just like in like crazy organization mode and like put my head down for like an hour. And then all of a sudden I looked out and snow is just coming in sideways. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, yesterday was actually like a pretty weird day. Like I remember waking up and it was rainy and super like overcast and gross. And I went and like met up with a homie and then we're chilling for the afternoon. Went to go like take some photos afterwards, and it had dried up. It got sunny, and it was just like really cold,
like a cold but beautiful day.
Yeah. And then then that night it stayed the same, and then it like I guess it like maybe rained a little bit, stopped, and then boom, I looked out the window. Like
it was the Four Seasons.
I was like, holy shit, yeah, dude, for real, it really was.
So yeah, that was interesting as heck watching that one come in. I was just like, whoa, what? No
shit, man.
Yeah, so like
I'm down with snow on the mountains but not in the city.
Well, I'm
working
down
in
with
it and driving in it like
I love driving in it, just like not driving if you have to drive to work in it, it's never good.
Oh yeah
but
traffic.
But yeah was gonna simply say, it was like, it's always that same thing though. I'm like, if it's gonna snow,
just
like,
fucking snow.
Actually snow. You know what I mean? None of this middle of the fucking road bullshit, which is what we always get. You know what I mean? The snow rolls in a little bit, and then because the cloud cover's now here, it warms up the atmosphere enough for that snow to not stay snow. And it just turns into a slush pit. So it's just like, we're right in the middle. Whatever. Fucking, it's beautiful as fuck.
And
you know
like,
what I mean? It sounds like I'm just complaining like crazy about it, but
remember like when you would take transit in like this shit? That is the worst. Like the squeaky shoes on the bus, everyone's miserable. It's all like hot, windows are all condensation.
Yeah.
Just so gross.
Sorry, I'm just fucking with
levels.
I'm being all of the interns in the background trying to set up lighting and things of that nature. But yes, squeaky things, bus.
Squeaky wet, hot.
Terrible. Do you remember? No, it was worse than that though. Was when you were like had to go to school, and you're in like the fucking socked up fucking or sopped up, soaking socks, soaking everything, and you're just like in
jeans.
class, jeans. You just feel terrible all day long.
You're like, I'm gonna get sick. I'm gonna wake up
if
sick
you're not
tomorrow.
sick because of that, you're sick because of the fact that there was like people that would just show up to school like deathly ill.
Dude, and what's up with there's always that guy that wears shorts this time of year too.
That was me for fucking like literally
this morning driving. Like there's a lot of snow outside.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold. There's a guy at the bus
not
stop.
like levels of snow, but like there's snow everywhere.
There's a decent amount for
us.
Yeah,
for us, it's like a few inches.
But Yeah, these fucking homies at the bus stop, just in shorts.
Yeah.
Like, no socks.
Yep.
It's low cut shoes.
My shit, fucking.
I'm like, that guy exists everywhere. Like,
because there was just like an age when, I mean, like my parents stopped buying my clothes at a certain age, which was like grade 7 or some shit like that, I think. Like basically,
so it gave you money, you buy your own?
Well, no, it was like I'd get money for Christmas or something like that. Then I could go buy clothes or something like that. But it was never really like, maybe for like the start of the year, I'd get like $100 for like the start of Christmas year. I mean, school year.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yo, here's $100 to get like, a few things for school.
And you're like, I could maybe get a pair of shoes.
Yeah. So literally it was like, okay. So that was when, like, I mean, I started working at a very young age, right?
Yeah,
so, but, so yeah, it was just basically like what would end up happening would be I would buy myself a pair of cargo pants during the winter with my Christmas money.
Summer would come
and I would cut them off.
Snip.
And snip. And then I'd have cut off fucking cargo shorts that I would wear those for the rest of the year. And then when it would come to the winter, a lot of times, like, you'd have to pick or choose what you're going to spend that money on. So rather than buying another pair of pants, I just continue wearing my cut off shorts. So then I just wear cut off shorts entirely the way through the summer.
And then you would buy like a new top or something.
It would be or something or whatever, a new jacket or some shit. So I'm like, at least my upper's warm, And then I wore steel toe boots every single day for like 3 or 4 years.
Steel toes?
Yeah, it was stupid.
School?
It was yeah. It was so stupid.
Like legit steel toes.
Legit steel toes with the steel shank on the bottom. Well, dude, I had that fucking massive chain with the fucking boots.
Those are heavy.
Yeah, it was fucked. So like I'm wearing that, my cut off shorts, like I'm just thrash metal kid as fuck, right? Dude. And the funniest thing though was after that 3.5 years when I finally went back to skate shoes, I destroyed the first pair in like a month.
Just wearing them?
Yeah, because I was used to wearing steel toes. I could walk through anything. And I knew that, so I'd be walking and I'd just be like, and I'd just be walking through mud puddles and like through like the grossest shit, right?
Force of habit.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden I start trying to do that with my skate shoes, not even thinking about it.
So delicate.
And then it's just like the old like where the shoe gets stuck and then your foot comes out and you're like,
bro,
what is this? This is why I steel toed. And then no. But yeah, that shit was fucking hilarious, man.
Dude, that's crazy. You committed to the fucking steel toe. Like,
yeah.
When people get jobs and you actually need steel toes, and you actually try them on like yourself for the first time, you're like, whoa, these are like,
this sucks.
You walk and like your toes get weighed down. You're like, these are actually heavy. Yeah. But coming across like what I have is those composite toes. Where it's like it's that type of like hard plastic that they do. Where
I never even did that.
Allegedly it's just as strong, but it's not the weight. Yeah, and that's how they advertise it.
Unless it's like carbon fiber,
because it just has to have
shit.
That like, what is it? The CSA.
There's a certain rating.
CSA. There's a
CSA or CSE or
maybe E.
Yeah, something. One of those acronyms.
But I'm like, it has it on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
He's got to be certified. I mean, it's got the label.
Yeah.
So I mean, can I just run over with forklift? Let's find out.
I mean,
I've had a forklift.
Thankfully,
I
haven't like had any issues. But
did I?
A forklift?
Yeah, fucking went boom. And I was and then same thing Buddy did with as Suburban ran over my fucking toe once, and I had steel toes on, and it was fine.
I feel like the Suburban wouldn't be as bad as the forklift. Yeah.
No, the forklift wasn't like right over the toe.
Suburban's more like spread out weight, you know?
Yeah, the forklift one was like, it was more or less, it kind of clipped the rubber and then just kind of hit the edge of it, because I'm pretty positive
forklift wheels are like...
if it would have been...
Dude, they're almost like little stone wheels.
And then just like imagine if it hit the metal and it was like that, like really cheap ones or something.
And like bent it in or something?
Just clamped down on your toe. Just vice
gripped your toes. And you couldn't get them off, because like, can you imagine, the metal is just like, you're like, how do you reverse bend that?
That's one of those situations where it's like, you get stabbed, but it's like better to keep the knife in.
Yeah, you're like... Do I take it out? Do I leave it in?
Yeah.
Right?
So the guy's like legit got this thing clamped on his toes, and then it's just like,
is there a rule of thumb with that? Like if you get cut by something, or you get like you know, say, I don't know, you bail like mountain biking, you get a branch and you like
with something like that, if it's like,
is there a rule of thumb? Like depending on where it is, if you should leave something.
Yeah, there's a certain like thought process behind it, especially like if it's something like big and like a massive laceration, you almost have to like keep it in, because if you pull it out,
you're just gonna bleed out.
You're not only gonna bleed out, but you're gonna fuck up a lot of organs like on the way out.
You, right?
It's corking you, and then on the way, it's like it's now settled amongst whatever organs it's punctured through, or it made its way past.
Especially if it's a weird shape, like an arrow, right? So if you pull an arrow, it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. And then that's what will end up causing the infection and like crazy fucked up shit. So you're better to just like let a professional fucking work its way out, because sometimes they have to like, it might be one of those ones where they have to do an X-ray and then figure shit out that they actually have to like
come in on this side,
cut this part out, cut you open here to move some shit over and then push it through or something. You know what I mean? Like, and here you are just crudely trying to pull it back through, just fucking everything up.
Yeah,
like,
what the hell's going on?
But
dude, that's like remember those like medical shows on
I never like watched that shit. Fuck
I think it was maybe on that channel.
No way.
But there was like, I remember they would have so many. One of them was like nightmares of the ER, and it would have like fucked up scenarios, dude.
They sewed a person back up with a fucking scalpel still inside them.
Dude, like
what?
Speaking of like people getting stabbed with stuff, I remember there was one, this guy, he had a knife in his head.
Oh yeah. I've seen all that shit.
Where it was someone like rang his doorbell and he opened the door and it was like someone, like a home invader, and they were waiting for him, and they had this like, the blade was about that long. Yeah. So like a huge handle, right? So the dude's waiting outside with the knife for the guy to come out, and then the guy opens the door. As soon as he opens the door, the guy's just like,
it's funny. I did watch those shows. I thought you initially were talking about the ones where they were like,
show you surgery?
Where it was just like guys' stomach being fucking cut open, and there's like a fucking flat mounted camera right above it.
Right?
Full blown like Hollywood lighting. And you're just like, no, don't want to see that. You're like, you flip into the channels and you just see this
when you flip
like
it,
meaty pockets, and then like it's kind of like
and you're
wet,
like, what the fuck is that?
This thing go, and you're like, oh fuck no, that's a fucking inside of a person.
Yeah, don't want it. You clue in, you're like, what the fuck? Oh,
but there'd be those ones, and then be the same shit. I think it was like, I don't know, that same kind of show. There's the one where the guy is like walking outside of his like front steps, and it was icy, and he slipped and he fell on an exposed piece of rebar, and it went through here.
Ooh.
And came out here.
What? It was that long?
Yeah, and it fucking missed every single organ.
Oh my god.
And so they had to come in with an angle grinder, cut it off, and he went to the fucking ER with this fucking, like, it was like a 3.5 foot piece of fucking rebar just through this guy. And they were able to fucking legit, I think they just sedated him so that his muscles kind of let go of it. Oh. And then they went,
just
fucking pulled it back out, and he was able to fucking avoid all infections and shit. It was like the magnified ass story of the nail going through my finger, like the one where it went in over here and it came out over here, and it was just like that times of fucking through your shit, avoiding your.
What did I think maybe it was. Remember Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so
I also just remind me. I have something to say about steel toes. I have to say.
Steel toes. Okay.
I'll remember it, I'm sure. But
I'll do Ripley's. I'll remind you steel toes. I have something about a friend that hit his head open. So remind me about that. Okay. So yeah, 100% it was on Ripley's, and it was this dude. We brought
Ripley's up on here once before.
Yeah. Dude, there's so much shit on that though.
I know. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Because the books used to be the shit, and then it turned into like a show
with Superman fucking hosting it. What's his name?
Oh fuck yeah.
What was the name of the TV show? I'm just gonna fucking.
It was like the Canadian like low budget Superman TV one. I'm pretty sure.
Not original. Let's go 90s Superman TV.
Dean Cain,
right? Yeah. He's bringing up. Look at that fucking guy. Look at that shit.
Dean Cain. Yeah, and it was
Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman from 1993 to 97.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Cast and crew: Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher was Lois Lane.
Was it in Canada? I feel like it was.
I don't know. Where would I find this out?
anyways.
Yeah. You keep going on.
Yeah, they had this story on there where these two guys in India were riding a motorcycle like back to back, right?
Yeah,
like, so homies on the back, and they were following this big pickup truck that had all these pipes and shit, right?
Final Destination shit or what?
So they're following this truck, and this pipe fell off.
For a second in my mind, I thought you were talking about a Superman episode.
Oh.
And then I'm picturing this like violent murder shit coming.
And
I'm
you're like, oh shit, eh?
Whoa, damn.
Must have missed that one.
This isn't Ripley's. Ripley's, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Ripley's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this dude, it must have been like a 10-foot pipe. It fell off this truck, and it fucking skewered these dudes. And so it went through one dude's shoulder, out his shoulder, into the guy behind him.
Oh, you know what?
And then out that guy too. And they were literally skewered together.
Yeah.
And how you're saying like that dude with the rebar, it was one of those things where it like by fucking chance it like didn't hit anything important, and they were able to take it out like no problem, stitch him back up, and they would recover, right?
Yeah. God damn, man.
Okay, I'll tell my other story after you tell me the steel toes before you forget.
Oh, it was just gonna.
Did you forget already?
No, I didn't forget, but it was just simply gonna say that it was like I remembered why I stopped wearing steel toes after almost 4 years.
I feel like it would fuck your feet up. Like it would like push your toes in and all weird and shit.
It wasn't good for my feet. I'm sure in
like
that sense.
Chinese bondage.
But I think I talked about it on the show once before. But when I broke my fucking left ankle, when I got pinned underneath all the plywood that fell on me.
Oh yeah.
So basically, if anybody doesn't know what happened, there was like a dozen sheets of plywood stacked against the wall at my wood shop in school, like vertically, and I had to get the ones that were in the middle, and my teacher was just like, oh yeah, just got somebody to like lean him against you while he pulls out the other one. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. So
all right,
like,
teacher.
Yeah, thanks, teach.
You know best.
And like I love this way this wood store. So I'm like holding this stuff, and like the 9th sheet comes, and then by the time 10th sheet comes, it was just like, oh, this is too much, because it was inch thick MDF, which is like even heavier than fucking plywood.
Well, and what? It's taller than you or about your height?
Average sheets are 4x8, so I'm not 8 feet tall. So,
okay.
Or 4 feet wide. So I'm tall, I'm wide, but not full sheet.
Shit.
But anyways, I was wearing steel toes, and when I went to bail out of the way, I got my right foot out of the way, and as my left foot was getting pulled out, the toe got pinned by the fucking plywood because it was a steel toe and I had something to grab onto, and that was what pinned my foot in place. And then my leg went down flat while the sole of my foot stayed flat on the ground. So it was just like foot leg now one vertical plane, and then it just tore the whole like inside fucking like muscles and whole thing in the arch support. And then it was just like,
that's fucked.
The basis of the story was like, I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, wow,
this was in class?
Yeah, this was in class.
Jesus.
Some kid like ran over, tried to pick up the stack, and he was like, me, and he couldn't. And then I had that like crazy like
Hulk
just
moment.
Adrenaline surge. I was like, and I just like threw them off of me.
Oh god.
And I stood up and I was like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah, and you're like Gumby like.
And then they almost had to cut my fucking boots off.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because
it was swelling so much.
Yeah, it kept swelling so much. Yeah, and then after that moment, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go back to some shoes. You know, maybe.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
How did they? So what did they? So did they got ambulance came to school, got you, and
do you
remember what happened?
Not even ambulance, man. It was like, I think dad came picked me up from school, and then like went home, and like wrapped my ankle.
You didn't.
And then it was like, oh, this is really getting bad. And then like I think it was like a few days later I went to the hospital or some shit.
Oh my god!
As with like most of my injuries, where it's just like, oh yeah, no, you're fine, nothing's wrong.
You're
and they're like, yo, remember that time you almost lost my leg because you thought it was a fucking muscle tear?
Was this no? That must have been before your hip then.
No, it was after.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, there was just like this like 3 year period of like just like me fucking myself up hard, and then like fucking it was just so bad. But it was just okay, nope, let's go back to some shoes. Well, I couldn't even wear steel toes anyways, right? Because it was like fucking as soon as I got out of the fucking cast, like you know what I mean. Even when you're hopping around on crutches, you don't want to be carrying around a steel one. Let me put my one steel toe on. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's not good.
Slides,
not
bro.
good idea. Yeah, slides would have been
Slippers.
dope. Actually, that would have been dangerous. You just go downstairs and like the one slide like kind of like
catches or something.
Let me try to like readjust. Oh no.
Well, dude, it's like driving with them too. I remember when
that shit's so dangerous.
When
gets wedged under the brake or some shit.
When I was learning how to drive, I took what was it called? Young Drivers. Yeah. That driving course out here. And you do like a in class for a couple days, and then you have like a driving lesson. I think it was once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, until like 10 lessons or something comes up.
Yeah.
But I remember when I took that course, they brought that up, how they're like, don't drive with sandals or like flip flops.
I think it's actually illegal for it. Like you can get fined for it now.
Yeah, I could see that. I was like, at the time, I was like, wait, why? And they showed like visuals of like, if this is, your pedal, this is your foot, and how your flip flop could go underneath. It would go like that basically, and then how you could get stuck.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? You'd like panic and try to take your foot off the gas, but the flip flop would keep your foot on
like
it.
Certain be like, shoes that are actually even just dangerous to drive in, like where if they have like a fucking a lip that sticks out the front of the toe. Because then, like, you're trying to go from gas to the brake, and then all of a sudden it gets caught underneath the fucking that portion of the brake, and you need
that second or 2 seconds
that you need to be on that brake.
You could rear end someone.
That same shit where I've actually had that happen without realizing it, where a water bottle like flew under my brake.
Yo, that's Final Destination.
Yeah,
that literally was in one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to slam on the brakes, so I went to go put them down. I'm like, my brakes aren't working.
Holy
and I look down, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Dude, that's
like
which one
that
was
could have
that?
been the fucking death.
It was Final Destination 2.
Okay, right.
And the person it happened to, have you seen that movie? It's the one with the highway.
Yeah, I think
like the highway to
I think
hell
I've
song.
seen like the bits and pieces kind of thing, like watched it in the background.
There's it was a kid and his mom.
Right,
It was a high school student and his mom. But apparently that the guy that played it is from out here. I remember people pointing that out to me. They're like, "Oh, that guy's from Vancouver."
Yeah.
But
represent.
Yeah. Well, what? It was exactly that scenario, because the way those movies work out, right? It's like they have that crazy fucking kill fest of everyone, but someone has the premonition that stops it, and then afterwards everyone gets picked off one by one. So the scenario they were supposed to die in was, it's like those logs on the big trailers fell off and started like impaling people, and then big car crash, right?
That was like part of like the main trailer, I remember.
Yeah, and so theirs was he has 2 of those water bottles, and he's drumming with them on the dash.
You know what I do?
And when his mom's driving, and then he drops one, and the mom's like, "Oh shit!" swerves and goes to press on the brake, and
rolls
there's like
under the fuck.
Yeah, under the brake, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" She can't. That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, that shit was scary as fuck.
I was like, that's so real.
Yeah. And that's
some of those scenarios are a little like outlandish.
Yeah, you're like, oh, and then every once in a while they put like that.
But
I'm like,
flake of realism, Yeah.
What happened to your homie? You had a little story about your fucking homie who fucked up his head.
Yeah, see, I forgot. This was grade 6 at
right around the age where
Chalmers.
A lot of boys start getting rambunctious and fucking themselves up. Yep.
At Chalmers. Okay, so remember where Burns U?
Yeah.
Right. The backfield of Chalmers, there was like this. They had like their fields were behind, right? They had this big staircase with like the most perfect like round rail. Right. So it was all grass and shit, but we would always be
that
like
staircase.
It would lead up to like the little cul-de-sacs or whatever. And
it was like little like alleyway with like gates that was between people's houses that then came out onto the field. Yeah, I know exactly that.
100%. And it
was like sliding that shit in grade 2.
Yeah,
grade 3.
And we'd always be like, "Oh, this would be the most perfect rail." Yeah, and so you'd always you'd fucking bum slide it.
Yeah.
Homie's bum sliding it.
Oh no.
Okay. And it was either lunch or recess. But anyways, we would always go there and just hang out and post up, right?
Yeah.
And then
because it felt like this, like kind of like on the outskirts of where you're supposed to be. Yeah, I mean, so especially in grade school, right?
Yeah, a couple of like the dudes would smoke. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like in grade 6, and you're like, yo, it's fucking badass. But homie's bum sliding the rail. He's okay. So stairs are on the inside, obviously. Rail's on the outside. He's on with his legs on the outside of the rail. Yeah. So the stairs, right? So he's sliding down. He fucking boom topples over stairs side, and he fucking boom head on like the edge of the stair, and you're like, oh fuck. And then he kind of gets up and he's like, whoa. And he had short hair, right? Yeah. So his hair was kind of like mine right now at the back. And we're like, oh, fuck, are you okay? Like, it happened so fast. You didn't really see, like, because his head covered the stairs. So we didn't see what exactly happened. You just saw, you're like, oh, it looked like he hit his head, right? Homie got up and he's like, oh, fuck, right? And then he's looking at us. He's like, oh. And then he turns around, like, and then I look at the back of his head and he moves his hand. Literally, there's a tiny hole in the back of his head, and it's just like bloop, 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 bloop,
more. Yeah.
Like if you're just tipping a water bottle, it's doing that out of his head. And I was like,
get some pressure on that.
Oh my
bitch.
God. I was like, yo. And he was like, he pulled his like movie shit, dude. He was like, and then he looked at us and he saw his eyes start to roll back, and I was like, oh fuck. And then we were like,
we don't need another hole.
We had to like wave over. Remember back when they used to have like
duties, right?
The supervisor people.
They were called duties.
Was it duties?
I'm pretty sure they were called duties.
Was it something duty?
No, it was just because it was like, maybe, I don't know, we just call them like duty. Like, we need your help over here. Like,
and it was always like someone's parent would volunteer or something,
and they'd have the fucking orange with yellow vest on.
Yeah.
And then just be walking around making sure they'd be like, hey, you know. We had to slow down. We
had to wave over one of these dudes, and then he came over and he's like, I feel like, it actually
it's like service duty, or like, because it was like a duty, like a scheduled duty or whatever. Yeah. So then as kids, we're just like calling them duties, right? You know, like. So funny.
And then we called that dude over, and then him not knowing, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, what do you need? And they always have like their little fucking like Band-Aid, like, you know. And we're like, no, we're gonna need a bigger Band-Aid. And he shows
what else you got in that fanny pack, bro?
Even the dude was shook. He saw it and he was like, oh fuck. you can tell it's like
he starts gulping, trying to gain his own composure.
You know when people do first aid or something, right? And then when they're actually faced with something that they were trained for, and you can tell there's that moment of shock, and they're like, then it hits them, they're like, okay, remember your training. Right? Like,
oh geez, don't freak out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right.
Yeah. It's one of those.
All of a sudden they just fucking faint. And kids are like, oh no.
Yeah, right. Your help faints.
Jeez.
But that was the first time.
Oh yeah, when you start seeing those like gnarly things for the first time at school.
Real life.
Dude, when we first started hearing about bad injuries like that, one of the first ones at our school was kids reenacting fucking Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Oh no, no, I'm talking way before Jackass. I'm talking like grade 3, grade 4 kind of shit in my time. So that would have been
fucking 94,
95, 90. Yeah, about 94, I'd say. And anyways, fucking kids were fighting,
like
right?
I was gonna say fake fighting.
Yeah, and so some of the guys would be putties and shit, right? Running around being fucking silly and shit, and fucking some kid
bloody nose.
No, fucking grabs a rock, a big old rock,
just
fucking hits the kid over the fucking back of the head with the fucking rock, because you want to take out the putties, right? You wanted to, because you use Power Ranger, so fucking just took
that's assault, brother. Holy shit!
Kid had to get like 6 stitches in the back of his head and shit, and like. It was crazy. Like, and then we were like, we had an assembly, and I remember them sitting us down, look, okay.
Yeah, it's for sure have to address that shit.
you can play Power Rangers, but no contact.
Yeah. And it's like those snowball fights too, when kids would get hurt and they'd be like, no, they would just fucking boycott snowballs.
Snowballs being packed with rocks.
Yeah.
That was legit what was happening. Putting rocks and then turning them into ice. And it was like, yeah, she would get a little dangerous on the fucking field back in the day, you know? Like,
fuck. It's like a brick, dude.
You'd get cut from the snowball, and then once it breaks, the fucking rock
the
comes
shrapnel. It's ice grenade.
The fucking war fields that were recess, right?
Oh my god.
Like the Nom flashbacks are just like getting like fucking tackled and face washed and shit. You're like, no.
Face washed, yeah.
Dude, that shit was the worst. Because they'd get like a handful of dirt with it sometimes, because it wasn't like we were saying about not ever getting much snow, and it's just this icy dirt in your face, and it's just
fucks your shit right
like
up.
A face rash for the rest of the week.
Face rash.
Fuck, man. Oh, my lantern.
Yeah, people getting fucked up at school, man. I think
a lot.
Like the homie with the bleeding head, grade 6. The next one after that was grade 8 or 9 at Burnsview, and the 6th set out back. Yeah, right. Everyone would hang out there. It had like the little railings, and we used to just skate flat ground and stuff there. And then there'd be like the one ballsy kid. We'd hold the cafeteria doors open, and he would ollie the set or whatever, right? I remember we fucking hanging out there one day, and I don't know if I told this already, but this guy breaking his arm. Did I tell this?
I don't know. Maybe
I've told you not on here.
Yeah, regardless.
But yeah, this like, you know, when you like hop over railings, you put your hand on it and you do the little right.
I think you did, but either way, just give us a synopsis. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
So I just like randomly, I looked over midpoint when this guy was doing it. He was already full body weight on his arm, like propping himself over. For whatever reason, the guy next to him was like, his arm's on the railing. Boom, grabs his arm and holds it on there. I do remember this story. While he goes over. So his arm is now behind him, and then is like this like thicker kid, right? Yeah. So long story short, he ended up twisting his arm till it broke because this guy like held his hand behind him. That was, I think it was grade 8 or 9.
Okay, no, I would have been in ND then, I think. Because you were...
When I was in grade 8, you were there.
Yeah, so if it was grade 8, because I'm trying to remember, because I remember a situation, I'm trying to remember if it's that situation or not, but I remember some very similar ones.
It became a big thing. I remember like, even like afterwards, the kid was like, oh, my arm! And we were like... Everyone was like,
around that same spot like all the fucking time anyway.
Yeah. Like, I remember hanging out with the it was one of those assembly things too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It became like the contact
I remember
thing.
That story too, because that made me think about the one which I think I told on here, with Adam jumped down the stairs and broke both the bones in his fucking leg. And I was just watching, like, just like bones like almost ready to pop out of the skin. You're just like, oh gee, no, you're not. I'm not supposed to see that. Like,
yeah. Oh, fuck.
Bodies, man, they're so fucked. Like,
yeah.
No.
Just some of the shit people do, man. And like, even watching skateboarding, like people in real life skateboard, sometimes if it's like something like a risky obstacle, I'm like, sometimes I just look away because I'm like like if they get close, I'm like, oh, sick. But if they like bail fucked up once and then they go at it again, I'm like, I don't know if I'm like, dude, I don't know if
I'm usually like, just like, I'm ready to turn away. You know what I mean? Like, I'll watch, but then if it's like, if I'm like looking, I'm like, that's bad. No. Yeah. Fucking no. But like, there's still that curiosity in my brain that's like, what can happen? Like, I need to know
if you pull it off.
I need to know what a variable is about like what actually happens when somebody fucking whatever, insert the worst thing possible you can think about. And my brain would probably watch the first bit of it. Just being like, oh, that's what happens, eh? Like, that was like those weird things where it's just like you start seeing those little eye-opening, like, you're immortal moment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, oh, jeez.
And you're like, I can't unsee that. Yeah. I'll forever know.
Like the first time you hear a car accident.
Ooh, like a legit, like one that has a weight to it.
Yeah.
You hear
we're fucking
metal on metal.
Playing baseball in Australia. And fucking, and we're just like legit, like, I think we're just practicing. And fucking, I just remember it's like so vividly because we had white practice jerseys, and ladybugs are so attracted to white. And they weren't were they ladybugs? I think it was ladybugs, or it might have been a different type of bug. I think I'm pretty sure it was a different kind of native bug to Australia. But anyways, your jersey covered. Would just be covered in like hundreds of these bugs while you're practicing. You're like, get the fuck off me, man. And then all of a sudden you're doing this shit and like playing baseball, and all of a sudden you just hear like the loudest fucking impact
just
possible.
Die hard hit.
And then we run over there and you just like see two cars crammed together and just like person like on the ground just like they like pulled out of the car, and you're like I didn't see this, but this is fucked.
Fuck, dude, that reminds me actually.
Such a
I saw when this was this would have been, I think it was in the summer, like this last summer. I was going down Nordell. Right on that, like, right before the bridge, how it turns around the hockey arena, right? Okay, so right where it turns, and like you either are going right around or you go straight, right? Right at that point where it separates, I was leaving for work, and it must have literally just happened because cops weren't there. No one was there yet. Like, it must have been within a 5-minute window. And I was coming down, a little bit of traffic built up, like just right at it. And I was like, oh, what's going on, right? And then maybe a minute in, I'm super close to it, and then I see like some cars stopped, like coming towards me, like down around the bend, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I see people standing, and then I'm getting closer and closer, and I'm like, oh, there must have been an accident, right? And I'm looking, and I get super close, and then I'm like, where's the other car? And then I look over, I see a motorcycle on the ground.
Oh no.
And I'm like, okay. And then I look at where the people are standing, and then when I get close enough, I can see there's a dude on the ground. This guy's trying to give him CPR, and this dude is the color of your laptop.
Yeah.
Dead as fuck,
you're
dude.
Yeah.
First time I've ever seen a dead body.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like giving him CPR, and I'm getting close. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is fucked, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting so close, dude. Like, I was like from my car window, like, cause he's on this side.
Right.
I was like maybe 8 feet away from like the actual dude, cause he got hit, slid over like into oncoming, right? Dude. And I was like,
yeah, that's the shit, guy, man, where like your brain,
like, that guy is so
something
dead.
Now just switches over where you just now know that's a possibility, or you just,
And then I like, because you just drove through, went to work, and I was like, oh my God, that guy was 100% dead.
Yeah.
And then boom, everyone, when I got to work, everyone like found out about it, and then it was on the news, and I guess he got hit by someone was distracted, and then went into oncoming and fucking smoked this dude on his bike, killed him. And he was like,
ooh, that added momentum of being oncoming. You're done. Yeah, you're fucking done. That's the shit that worries me so much, man, because my dad rides motorcycle.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like, right?
And he's like, oh, well, I got it together. I'm like, I'm not worried about, I'm worried about you in that sense too. Your bad knee, your bad shoulder, bad everything else, your old man shit.
It's really everyone else.
But on top of worrying about his knee just or his back randomly going while he's riding, and then him or some shit, I'm like, I'm worried about everybody else. Like, that's the largest worry. Let alone all that other stuff I'm worried about. Like,
just driving, in general, man. Let alone on a fucking motorcycle. You're so vulnerable,
because it could be one of those things where somebody starts to swerve into a thing, and then he needs to have that quick reaction, and that quick reaction could be what throws his back out.
They cut you off, and you don't have a way out, right? You know?
Ooh, it's so dangerous, man. So fucking dangerous. Like I say, like I mentioned, it was like, I think it was last podcast or whatever. Like, I grew up riding dirt bikes and shit. Love that shit. And eventually I do want to own like a dirt bike and do ride again and stuff like that. But am I going to ride up these roads on a fucking motorcycle? I don't.
These like little suburban areas, right? It's like they're tight corners. It's hectic. It's very.
It'd be so selective. It would be like,
you know what I mean?
Summertime rides, like destination rides, like it'd be so. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man. Like selective as what you would choose to do.
Yeah. Where you go on the bike, not just like run errands on a bike.
Oh, like, fuck no.
No way. No fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy out there, man. Like, you see it like when you're fucking driving a car that you're just like, geez, like you just almost hit me. Yeah. Like, you're not even paying attention.
And I'm a big object.
Yeah.
I'm a big old object.
Big old shiny object.
Yeah.
4 lights, 4 wheels.
I had like I have that happen fairly often still. Like in my car is like a kind of dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
But before I had same color as your laptop, that light gray, right? And I found all the time, man, I would have people do that, and I think it's because that color is like almost invisible to people.
Well, I have that happen with my Camaro all the fucking time.
People fucking never like
because my Camaro's low and it's black. So then all of a sudden, like, just people look over and they just don't see me.
You blend in with the ground or something. Like,
well, like literally, a lot of time they can look out their thing, and if you don't go. Like, if you don't look down, you won't
like
see
an
my
inch
car.
down, right? Yeah.
Like, my car was like, I mean, the Camaro's always kind of had a sleek, low profile as it is, but then I put lowering springs on it as well, and my car would be lower than like, not like as far as low to the ground, but just like overall height would be lower than like lowered Civics and shit. So it would just be like you drive past, and you could tell a lot of people in like vans and trucks, just like
trucks, especially.
Not even fucking see you, and then I'd be honking my horn like yo, and then like that's why you have a 5.7 liter V8. You just go, you know, and you're out of the fucking situation, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I missed that car.
What happened to it?
Oh, it's just parked. Can't afford to fucking insure.
Oh, it's someone just posted that you had like the zap strap Frankenstein fix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my baby. One day I'll fucking resurrect it, get some fucking money into it, and do my final plans.
It just needs a bunch of work, or what?
No, it doesn't need work. I just need money for insurance and shit. But I can't afford that, so it stays parked.
What are you driving right now?
I just use my mom's car, fucking like the family Lexus when I need the
communal?
fucking the old communal family car, because they're retired and then they're on vacation. Like right now, they're fucking on vacation and like they're away so much that like when I need to go to and fro, I'm just like, yo,
to and fro.
Let me borrow that whip
real quick.
Save some fucking money, right?
Well, fuck yeah, why not, right?
Just like, well, I'm hanging out with fucking grandkid all day. Do it. Take the car.
Insurance is stupid.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I've been fucked over by ICBC so many times right now that even just to get insurance right now, I have to pay them.
You have to pay. You know,
I have to pay them $770 or some shit just to be able to pay
give
for
them
insurance.
more money.
Yeah.
To pay them money, you have to pay money.
Over the other like. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the other amounts of money that I've had to pay outside of just for insurance because I've been fucked over so many times. Like. So many times.
ICBC, man. It's fun. It's crazy. Like, it's the only option.
Yeah. It's like people have been starting to try to like make petitions for it and shit about the fact that we actually need to have privatized fucking insurance options.
Yeah, man.
Like fucking they do everywhere else.
Literally. And like the states, there's millions of different
just
ones,
even in fucking other provinces.
So you're like, why?
Within Canada, there's that shit.
Like,
but yet they can just have the stranglehold. Like when the fucking.
Well, we're always last. It was like that with air care too. Remember, we were the last province, weren't we?
I'm pretty positive. It sounds about right.
Yeah. And then the L and the N
joke. Yeah,
that doesn't exist in Alberta.
Really?
It's like I'm pretty sure you just get your. It's like your learners is basically your
for like
N,
6 weeks or some shit.
When you're 14, you can get it.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, with the fucking like here's your 6-pack, you know, like.
And then you get your license. Yeah, everything's shorter out there. But here, so I remember when I did mine, because here, right, you get your L, you have it for so long. Then you have your N, you have that for so long. Then you get your normal license.
Yeah.
But I remember when I went through it, I just went through it, and then they switched the time again where they made the L longer.
Right.
So I don't know what it is now, but I remember, I think it was when I did it, your N was 2 years, I think. I think it was your L was 1, N was 2, and then you got your 1.
Yeah.
But I feel like they bumped up the L.
Hey man, fucking! I'm glad that at least they make that fucking shit hard to do. That's like you're driving a goddamn weapon.
Yeah,
right?
now
you know. There's so many fucking people. There's so many cars on the road, right? That it's just like either give us some goddamn Tesla tunnels or fucking, you know, make sure you make that shit hard to get.
Hard to get, man.
Fuck. So do you seen any of this shit about Adidas's event that they had over the weekend? The big 747? Fucking they had that 747 Adidas like warehouse.
Wait, so yesterday then?
Yeah, through fucking.
Or is it still going?
It's still, well, yesterday was the big concert. I think it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
And so fucking
what's
basically,
the event?
like, I'll see if I can find some actual photos about it, but I'll
I feel like I don't know anything, but I'm sure if you bring something up, I'll probably like, oh, I probably saw a clip or something.
This warehouse. So they've done a whole bunch of crazy shit though with it. It was really cool. They ended up putting together. Here is, let's go.
747 warehouse.
Yeah. So it's a warehouse in LA where basically for 2 days, attendees will be able to cop exclusive kicks, watch a celebrity game pitting 2 Chainz and Snoop Dogg rappers studded teams against each other, taking performances, and then I'll get. It says there's like basically from like NERD, 21 Savage, Lil Uzi, Playboi Carti, Pusha T.
I wonder if this is that thing. I saw something about like good music randomly put on a fucking concert. I wonder if this is what they showed up to do it at.
Quite possibly. Hang on a second.
Push's there.
I gotta grab.
What'd you think of Push's Adidas shoe? Like the tan one? Did you see
that was
it?
my favorite colorway out of it.
Yeah.
It's just the snakeskin shit doesn't do too much for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that I didn't have a little reference window here. Okay, so
fucking pop-ups.
Pop-up action. So basically, it was really crazy. Like, I know a bunch of people that went through Twitter and stuff like that, like the Boost fam, shout outs. And they basically, you get a wristband and you show up and you go to these like little iPad dealies and you scan your wristband and it gets put into a raffle to purchase these random shoes and shit.
Oh, the raffles to purchase.
Yeah, yeah. And
like the super limited. Are they ones that are like specifically for this event?
Yes. So they dropped 12 new shoes at this event. Actually, let me get this tweet. Somebody fucking tweeted it fucking best.
Are they all Adidas?
Yeah, it's all Adidas because it's an Adidas event, right? So it was fucking somebody put it best.
Well, I mean, like sometimes Adidas will do a collab, like Adidas with something.
Like, well, they had like it was all mostly originals, and then some like there's Boost stuff. There was a bunch of the Futurecraft stuff, the new 40 shit. And then like look, they set up like this crazy basketball court. This is what intrigued me the most though. They had this creator, this maker creator fucking event where basically they'd set up all these different fucking materials, layouts, little pieces and stuff like that to build actual shoes. You'd get to go sit down
to build shoes like out of wood.
No, out of proper materials, the materials that are used to make Adidas shoes, and you get to use your creativity to take your fucking sketch to actual physical reality with the creators of Adidas, like Ben Harath, and like fucking all the other like main creators.
So just anyone that has a wristband can do this?
You'd have to sign up to get into these classes, I believe.
I was gonna say, like, this has to be pretty small class to like have that much like
they'd
detail.
have pretty large fucking classes though, and they actually ended up fucking Kanye shows up to this fucking class and is sitting down talking to the fucking class about the whole I didn't get to see like what he was talking about, but and it was just like so fucking dope. That. Like, yeah, right.
That'd be fucking sick to watch.
And it was just like man, like that would have been a fucking dream just to go to do that. The maker event portion of it.
That'd be so sick. Just to see, like even just sit, like not do it, just sit and like watch them do it.
Right.
Would be sick.
So let's see if there's any more photos. I want to find more photos.
Dude.
But so that was just that portion
that event
of it,
cost?
Right? Dude.
Like to throw, hey?
Dude, it's insane.
The amount of resources they pulled together to do that.
This guy put out the tweet best though, that fucking Adidas really dropped 12 new shoes, brought out Kanye, Lil Uzi, Gambino, Kid Cudi, 21, and Playboi Carti. I'm never buying another Nike product for the rest of my life. And because, dude, they brought out Cudi, or sorry, Kanye comes out on stage, introduces Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi comes out and performs. Kanye comes out and performs with Kid Cudi.
Yeah, that's what the clip I saw.
It was just like
the Father Stretch My Hands track.
Yeah, it was so hype, and it was just like there was so much behind it. There was like that. There was the massive like the Snoop Dogg team versus what did it say? Who was the other one again?
For basketball?
Yeah. Snoop Dogg put together a team.
Doesn't he do like college coaching or something?
Yeah,
right?
With college football and stuff like that. He even has a fucking Netflix series behind it now.
Well, there
but
is.
yeah, so fucking Snoop Dogg put together a team and 2 Chainz put together a team, and then they went to this big celebrity. Boy. Yeah. So they had a big celebrity match, and like, so like
that's dope, man.
So like Quavo's on one team, Bieber's on another team.
Okay, so that's what I heard, where Quavo got like MVP or something.
He got MVP, but then there's also this other footage where he was checking this chick on defense, and he fucking just
body
checks her, and she gets like hit to the ground and slides away and shit. He like helped her up, but she tweeted out like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a bruise," or something like that. And then he was just
thanks,
like,
Quavo.
Yeah, thanks, Quavo. And then he goes, "Free massages on me." Just try to be all slick about it and
fucking shit. Dirtball.
But it was just like, yeah, right.
Ball is life.
You fucking Dude, so they had that cool. massive game to the warehouse event, which was a spectacle of its own, where like you went through all these like different hallways of like crazy art displays showcasing where the shoe the EQT line has come from, the whole thing, where they had like all these shoes like on boom mic stands being like held by clamps and shit with like little tags under them, like what year they were from, and you could walk up and physically look at the shoe, and like to
sick.
Just the craziest shit. And then like all of the craziest influencers like just all hanging out, fucking shooting the shit. Wexler's like fucking walking the floor with fucking Kanye, talking to everybody, and it was just like what I would give to be there, just soak up this fucking creativity. But
dude,
luckily that I know a bunch of people, they're there doing the Insta story
through
so the whole thing. I got to see step by step the whole fucking way.
Are these like people like vlogging it too?
I'm pretty sure fucking
sure there's vloggers
guaranteed
there.
Fucking It's Teddy did a fucking vlog about it. Guaranteed fucking anybody who else went like fucking did. I'm gonna be looking into that.
I want to see like legit like day one. This is like.
So it was unreal. Like I heard day one was a shit show as far as like wristbands didn't work. So then like for like 2/3 of the people, so then you had to go like wait in line for another 3 hours just to get your wristband to work. But then after that, everything kind of like worked out good. A lot of people copped the fucking exclusive shoes, and then you get this crazy concert, like that lineup alone,
dude.
Like, so it was just like, you could just like the footage of the crowd watching was like, it was so silent, and everybody's phone was out because everybody was just in awe, and it was like one of those weird like, you're like, you should probably be hyped and go crazy.
Yeah.
I know you all want to be capturing
shocked,
it.
right?
Yeah, they're just like, what?
Whoa.
Like Kanye's Cuddy's hype man? Like,
dude. Yeah, I saw that, man, because I went to Cuddy in November.
Yeah.
Before I went, I saw a clip of him in Chicago.
Right.
Same thing. He did Father Stretch My Hands, right? So he played that song. And like right before the drop, and then fucking Kanye walks out, right? And then everyone loses it. And then I was like, yo, I wonder if he's gonna do that in Vancouver. And then he even played that song here, and I was kind of like waiting for it. I was like, is Kanye gonna walk out? But no, I get it. He was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Special appearance. But that's fucking dope that they did it for that. I mean, it makes sense. Like Adidas.
So much shit.
I wonder if Cuddy will get like some Adidas. Some gear, maybe. That'd be sick.
I bet you he's got some I think
because he did.
Do I remember him saying he had shit in the works or not? Because he do no,
he's done stuff with like Bape and.
But I honestly, dude, I wouldn't fucking doubt it if he has some shit on the fucking works, because like they work so hard with people who are like the creatives, and they've always been
the
that
power
way,
of that. Well,
right? Like
I'm interested to see too, like A$AP Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing stuff with Under Armour.
Right.
And like to me, Under Armour is kind of like,
well, they've been on the fucking they've been dying. They need something to try to
they're kind of like the Kia of like brands, you know, like I would never buy a Kia car.
Well, they fucking kind of put themselves under the bus recently over stuff because their owner is like a fucking, I think he was like, I might get this wrong, but I'm pretty positive he was like a fucking like big time like redneck like gun supporter, supports hunting and like
Confederate flag type character.
Maybe not that far, but like to the point where like he's like supporting some shit that like most brands wouldn't associate themselves with.
Not a good look.
It's kind of like, you know, just distancing themselves. Like just even like look at some of these quick little clips. Like,
well, dude, and like Puma too is on the come up.
Yeah, so like that's what everybody's starting to realize is that you need these fucking influencers, dude. Right? So like fucking like Carly Kloss, they're basically gonna like for the
this is that class.
This is still that class. They ended up having a big like panel that had her like, so like everybody taking their drawings and shit like that. They had a big panel that was like her, Pharrell, and then there's like a couple other influencers as well that basically just like got to sit down in the middle of the basketball, or I think it was the basketball court, and just talked like podcast style for like fucking like hours, some shit, and like
Dope.
Just so much rad shit where it's just like, that's horseshit, some kid's idea of like let's put everything together. But shouts out, kid, you got to go do that, so no hate. But like you fucking yeah, I'm just loving seeing any of this kind of stuff where it's like, even back to Puma, and like brands like that now realizing that it has to come back to that fucking, not just people who are like famous, but people who are actually like doing shit, pushing boundaries and being innovative in what they do. And
dude,
like,
fucking Big Sean, man.
Word.
His Puma shoe comes out next month. It's fucking sick.
Fucking, well, dude, look what they've done already with Rihanna. Like, they've made such a huge
and The Weeknd, like
not that I would fucking I'm not like into any other those myself personally, but seeing what they've done with it is fucking sick. Like, just realizing that you actually have to start taking steps. You know what I mean? Like, you actually
adding like
try new shit and like
more aesthetic to the brand.
And then fucking amidst all this stuff, where you're seeing all this new shit from everybody else, like Puma like came out with like their like rivaling boost technology thing recently, where it was like these like little tiny beads of like different densities encapsulated in a clear fucking like outsole, so like it would like
inside
mold. Yeah, so it would mold and then react to your shoe. Like, it looked really shitty, but they're taking steps to try shit, right? And then all of a sudden Nike's just right? like, hey, we just retroed the black cement 3 for the 4th time.
I saw
we just gave Justin Timberlake Jordan. And you're just like, guys, come on, really? Are you fucking serious? Like, you're not like struggling per se, but you're struggling to like, you're obviously doing well, you're still number 1 in the market, but you're struggling to become, I thought
like Adidas overtook them last year.
No, they're number 2 now. Jordan Brand and Nike, like as a conglomerate, still hold number 1 as far as sales or whatever, but like as far as like the climb,
Adidas
and like
Adidas they're gonna
fucking shit up.
They're reaching for that bar, man.
Yeah, because they just keep trying new shit. And then with the 4D shoe that's coming out this year, just like a bunch of it's already been released. Like,
yeah, I've just seen like a couple photos, but
it's a shoe where the outsole is printed out of oxygen and light. What?
Like, is there anything that explains that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'll bring up the Adidas video because it's like, it's so nuts, man.
Because I just saw like the photo, like the thumbnail of it, and it was kind of just like a teaser. So I haven't taken a moment to like dive into like someone explaining exactly what it is.
I'll just do the actual
you can play this, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sure Adidas
we're advertising. Yeah,
I'm sure Adidas would be stoked to me playing this shit.
We're not hating.
And they just like we kind of mentioned it a little. Oh, actually, I don't think I did mention it, but they made it into the top 20 best inventions.
Inventions.
Of this fucking century or whatever. Or like this, no, maybe not this century, but it was like this decade. Yeah, and it made it to number 4.
That really had unlimited possibilities. You know, the initial problem was, okay, can we actually make a running shoe out of 3D printed material that really works and works well?
Yeah, because they did a 3D printed shoe first.
We wanted to use liquids.
And then it was like, it had its like, you know, it leaps in fucking advances, but then it still had its like limitations. So then this carbon company.
But oxygen inhibits it. That allows us to have the object grow.
What's really interesting about this collaboration with carbon is we're seeing a convergence of a completely new manufacturing technology.
We're going to scale it with the best industrial.
It's amazing what comes to be when like we just live our daily lives, and then like this is going on in the background somewhere in the world. And then when it's released, you're like, wait, what? And then they're like, yeah, this is how we did it for the last year or something.
For something like this, like the boost that's in fucking any boost shoe, this stuff they worked on with NASA to develop this shit.
That's crazy.
And then all of a sudden, like everybody's like, oh, they're just riding the boost wave. It's gonna be fucking like, that's gonna be gone.
My understanding from like the fake markets, people making fake everything, like so for Adidas shoes, is they can do everything, even up to like the weaves.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Like the special
Now we
fucking
have
weed process they do. But the only thing they can't do is the boost. That's the only thing they can't recreate in the fake market. Is what I'm told.
Yeah. Apparently, even then now it's like almost ridiculously close.
Who's 180 pounds versus.
So then they're talking about how they're going to be able to start tailoring the 4D print of the sole to the wearer. So, you're this height, this weight, we'll just fucking print it this way to support your fucking foot better. And because the sole prints so fast, they're eventually going to be able to get to a point where you're going to be able to have your fucking.
So it's like
order your pair online.
I was gonna say it's like the Nike IDs. You like specialize something, but you can choose like the sole.
I'm this age, this height, this weight.
That's what's great about
I got a high arch. Like
I run more, I walk more.
Dude, imagine like it would be the perfect shoe. Like imagine what the perfect shoe would feel like.
And so they were in a bit of lawsuit shit where somebody tried to sue them saying like, oh, that's our technology. Like no, fuck off. So then they just released a limited run of these right now. And then they're planning on releasing over like another 100,000 in the next like 6 months or some shit. And then it's just gonna start blowing up where they want to just be like, yo, 4 million every year. Like we want this because we can print so many of them. Like, let's get this shoe technology out there. Like, it's so fucked. So it's like I say, like, to see a company that I already respected and repped since I was a kid, because I've like, I don't know, I didn't feel like I belonged in other brands, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. Like Nike has been like the juggernaut brand since we were
and always had this like this air of like elitism to like,
but
you have to be like your top of your sport to wear Nike or something like that, or like
you have to be ultimate fit. Like there's a certain lifestyle
for sure. So as being like, you know, like a fat little white kid, like I'd get the Nike.
Adidas was more like for the average Joe.
Yeah.
And well, like then, other sports, like,
and then on my end too, though, because like I've been like I was a musician for the first 20 years of my life. Everybody I looked up to, almost everybody, was wearing fucking either some shell toes or fucking some sambas, or you know what I mean, like,
sure, yeah,
or even like the all-star fucking high tops and shit, like all that kind of stuff. So then you just kind of start getting, or dude, just even the classic fucking seeing everybody wearing the live through time, ever relevant fucking 3-stripe tracksuit.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was like that's forever. It's going to be like 2,100, 2,300 people are going to still be repping those things, right? Like,
yeah, it's funny. Like even still, like even last night, dude, I was looking at tracksuits last night.
Yeah.
Because I got invited to a fucking 90s birthday party that's in like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just have like normal clothes. I'm like, I don't have any like kind of gimmicky
action,
right? But I was like, yo, I like a fucking tracksuit would be pretty sick. But then you could just continue to wear it.
Yeah, I have a bunch of tracksuits now, and it's just like,
because you just wear the top with something, you could wear the pants with something else. You know?
And every once in a while, you just go full tracksuit, zip that bitch right up.
Because I still have like Adidas. Like old skate ones.
You were goddamn on the flow for a while.
Yeah, well, I was on the flow for a while too. I still have a pair that I hadn't even opened.
Got some of them contacts.
No, man, I wish. But
we're over here creating shit. Like,
hey man,
hashtag
one day
here to create. You know,
you never know.
Well, dude, they have their own hashtag on fucking Twitter that's here to create, and it pops up a little 3-fingered hand doing this, like a little emoji. The hand
does that? Really?
Yeah. Where you just put in the here to create, and then all of a sudden it pops up a little emoji hand that does like 3 fingers out like that. Like they worked with Twitter to get their own little pop-up emoji. I'm like, what the fuck? All right.
That's dope.
Yeah. Fucking, but fucking, in any case, like just off the fucking Adidas dick riding here, fucking, which I will forever do, is that I'm just stoked seeing companies in general take that leap forward with stuff and like actually work towards new technology and like
on top of like
consumerism,
just doing like how you're just saying that warehouse thing, right? Like that's crazy, dude. And then they're doing this, like the technology stuff behind it.
Any small portion of that,
they're doing so much different stuff. Even if you just put on
the warehouse and the basketball game, that's fucking crazy,
dude. Yeah.
Even if you just put on the warehouse, that's fucking crazy. That concert alone, fucking crazy. Now tie all that shit together
and then,
with the Maker Faire, with the whole, oh man.
Yeah, all like festivals are involved in, and like
and then so apparently they're gonna start making this a regular thing, where they start doing these at different like they're doing one in New York, and then they should do one in Vancouver. Like
they should,
you know, but it won't happen. It'll be like the TO for sure.
Yeah,
if Canada.
If anything dope ever happens in Canada, it's fucking Toronto. I swear
for sure, right? It would be the fucking what is it 707 Toronto? What's their postal? I don't remember.
Fuck, I don't know.
Whatever theirs is.
In the 6?
Yeah. Fucking
305 to my city? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's in a Drake song somewhere.
Yeah. Which I still have to watch it, fucking, but apparently you heard about his new video?
Oh, God's Plan. Yeah. I've seen clips of it. I haven't watched the video, but apparently the budget was $1 million for the video. And he just went and he gave away almost all of it. It was
996,000. He gave away.
It was like 9960. It was like literally almost $1 million.
So, I saw the best fucking clip of that this morning, where there's like a guy doing his version of it, and he goes to like it's like a corner store or some shit, and he's just like, "I'm here." He stands up on a stool and he's like, "I'm here. You guys, anybody in here, buy what you want." Get whatever you want, and then it just turns. There's like only one like small old Mexican guy standing there, and he goes, "Really?" And he runs back to the beer fridge and just starts coming back with beer. And then it like shows a bunch of other clips, but it was just that one clip was so funny. The guy's just like, "Really?"
Was it real? You think? Oh, okay.
No, it was all fucking acted out. It was so funny though, where he's just like a guy doing his version of like his small amount of money with. Oh, dude, nowadays. And that's the funny thing with like the meme world is like that, because you remember, okay, a good example of how quick memes move nowadays is like when the Drake dancing meme came out, and that was around for like a month, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that was like a year or 2 years ago now, whenever that song first came out. So shit's evolved so much from then that like now, like even if that meme came out now,
Hotline Bling thing.
Yeah,
that one.
Now, if that meme came out now, it would last maybe a week.
Maybe. Yeah. Shit's so fast.
It's so fast now,
dude.
It's like
because shit gets buried so fast, right? So when someone doesn't see something, you explain it, they're like, "Wait, what?" And you try to bring it up, it's so buried. Yeah. You're like, "Fuck it, never mind," right? Like,
well, I heard something the other day where it was like every 2 days, we create more content than there's ever been ever.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And that's perpetual. So every 2 days that happens again.
It's insane.
So yeah, some shit gets buried, dog. Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
did you see that clip? There was I saw it on Instagram, and it was a news clip from, I think it was CNN, and it was like this fucking white lady by herself, like, and she's talking about, she's just tearing apart LeBron.
No,
and I guess he said something political, right?
Right.
And she's going off about him, saying how, oh, people shouldn't take advice from people shouldn't take political advice from people who get paid hundreds of millions of dollars a year to dribble a ball. And she's like, millions of people voted for Trump, no one voted for you, so keep your comments to yourself.
Right.
And dude, like, but my jaw just kept dropping because it was so personal, and it just got worse and worse. Like, she said a lot more, but I was like, no, yo, lady,
you should probably stop.
Oh yeah, you're just like, it was a train wreck. You know, she just kept going. You haven't seen this clip, eh?
No,
dude. I was like, you're gonna get fucking murked. Like, someone's just gonna kill you, you know, like. Oh
or
my god,
like
dude.
One of those ones where that lady who just like made that
insane.
Ridiculously racist joke on the plane to Africa and shit. What up? And
oh yeah,
and she just wakes up to no job. Podcast,
what was it? Podcast. She was saying, "Oh, about to land in Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS."
Just kidding, JK. I'm white.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh no, you don't say that. But second of all, like, if you have. You just the when you really don't tweet that is when you have a job in the public.
Like, dude, that's fucking yeah.
But oh man, it's fucking
yeah. And then
the climate for today.
She woke up and it was like went viral.
Yeah. It's like shit gets buried so fucking fast nowadays. Like the one that to give you an example about this, like I don't usually go into this portion of news or whatever, but it's kind of something big that happened. I don't even know if you heard about this yet. The fucking shooting that just happened in Florida.
The school?
Yeah. So fucking they were up to, I think it was, there's now 17 fucking deaths over the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dudes at work were talking about it, and they're saying how like there's a company that makes bulletproof backpacks.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
But I believe it.
And he was telling me, he's like, dude, he's like, their sales are skyrocketing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, how insane is that? That we live in a world where kids now, like, there's a company that makes bulletproof backpacks that are like sick.
So just to give you an example about how fucking buried everything gets nowadays, how many school shootings do you think there's been this year?
This year?
Just in the fucking States.
I saw a thing the other day. It was like a photo, and then like it pointed out all the spots, and I'm trying to remember, there's around like 20 states were highlighted.
Yeah, well that was the 19th fucking school shooting this year. We're only 6 weeks into 2018, so that's a school shooting every 2 days, like just that's over crazy. Every 2 days.
That's fucked.
So it's like so fucked. Where like now I saw this.
But how many have you heard about though?
That's what I'm saying, right? Whereas everything gets so buried.
And do you think it gets buried, or just like it wasn't as like intense for them to actually report on it? They're like, they only picked like the craziest one.
It's a big portion of both. Is that it would still become, because you need to make news every day. Like it's like a fucking goddamn a vlogger on crack, except you're like, instead of trying to make content, you're trying to find content of stuff that's happening that you can report, right? So like every day you're just, what's sensational enough that I can report. So you're going to report on it, but the simple fact is that next day you might make something more sensational, like then just ignore the fact that that just happened. And then because you're now competing with not even other news fucking things, you're like whatever it is, social media, fucking everybody that's just, whatever, right? So it's crazy, man, that there's so much content coming out nowadays that you're just like, wow, like that's like, and then the crazy thing is like I try not to like gloss over them too much, but also not like dwell on it, but each one, like I still just feel fucking sick to my stomach when I start reading about it and look into it and shit like that. Like there's nothing that changes about it, but because it becomes more frequent, like it's just like, yeah, another school shooting.
It's another
school shooting, where like to the point
it
where
like dilutes like the realness of it. You know what I mean? Like the wow and shock factor of it.
Which I try to
like,
I think that's
so
why
often people are just like, it's another, which is fucked up.
I think that's why I'll do like that little bit of research into it when it first happens, to make sure that I don't lose that shock factor, because that's nothing you should ever just be like, yeah, there's another one. You know what I mean? It's that shit's heavy, man. It shouldn't fucking just be another fart in the wind, you know? Like it's,
well, imagine if it was you there.
Well, dude, there's some
you wouldn't.
I'd be one of those 17 because I'd be fucking trying to either stop the person or protecting others, you know what I mean? But it's like, so the fucked up thing is like, it's a good thing, I should say, but is that I saw this tweet go out where I think it's proposed, how real this is or not yet, I don't know, but I hope it becomes a movement. Someone put out a tweet saying that on 420 April 20th, which is the date that Columbine happened, over fucking 20 years ago now or whatever.
Is it that long ago?
Yeah. Fucking 20 years ago. They just had is it coming up on 20 years? Regardless, it's around the 20-year mark. They're gonna propose a fucking walkout where every school across the country, every kid walks out until these fucking gun laws change. Because they're just like, nope, I'm not going to school fucking thinking I'm going to die anymore. Fuck this.
Yeah, for like some sick kid who's right, the anniversary is the day I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Or just whatever. Well,
what are people wanting to change?
Just
like,
how about the simple
like a consensus of like...
The simplest portion of it is you shouldn't just be able to get an AR-15 easy as fuck. That's like, that alone. Change that. Nobody needs to have an AR-15. You don't. You're hunting? Don't need an AR-15. You don't.
What would you use that gun for?
Exactly.
But like, what would you use it for? Like, what is...
That's a military weapon. Like...
Just fucking... Murder, death, kill.
You're feeling badass, you know? So it was like, and then like, it's just like the classic bullshit that it brings up a lot of like the like random arguments and stuff. Like where like I put out a post about it on fucking Facebook or whatever, just being like, you know, like, can't believe this is number 19. Like, can we like, I think it's time that we start like highlighting some of the problems here. And then of course there's always some douchebag that chimes in, it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill. And you're just like, dude, you probably own an AR-15. Like, you know what I mean? Like because you're just one of those people where it's just like, obviously, but if you want me to get into like the actual logistics of it here about mental health and like people like yourself that shouldn't be having kids, like
variables, right?
You know what I mean? Like, I think like, are we going to start putting a limit to how many kids people can have and how they actually raise them? Or should we just like start doing some of the major variables about how easy it is for a lunatic to get their hands on a killing machine?
Well, dude, remember when 3D printing like became like a big thing a couple years ago?
Yeah, and all the 3D printing gun shit started coming out.
And there was like that. Yeah, and there was this guy that was highlighted. I remember he was saying how he wanted it to be a downloadable thing.
Yeah.
The prototypes,
right,
the blueprints for the guns, and he's like, yeah, I want everyone to have access to it so people can print guns at home and shit. And you're like,
there was, yeah,
and you're like, you're fucking psycho, dude. Like,
that one was.
Do you even realize what you're saying? And
that was under a weird guise too, because he was trying to push like it under, not under the fact, like it was under like a moral high ground or some shit. Like it was, you know, some weird argument shit, but like, I don't know. It's, you have to take steps. First, obviously, mental health is the main one. But if the guy couldn't get a goddamn AR-15 and he like only had a knife or some shit, Chris Rock fucking actually just had a joke about that applied to the shit perfectly in his new stand-up that just came out.
Netflix?
Yeah, it just came out on Netflix, where he was saying that like he was literally saying like nobody should be able to fucking get an AR-15. Like if a guy showed up to that same scene and he only had a knife, the death toll wouldn't be 98 people, unless everybody would just be standing there going like his joke was like, oh my god, there's a guy stabbing people over there, damn, that's a lot of people dying, oh shit, he's getting closer, damn, he keeps stabbing people, oh shit, he just stabbed me. You know, like I can't believe it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's the fact that you now have this thing that when you get a bump stop for them and it now becomes a semi-automatic weapon, like you're new. So that was just kind of like a fucked up thing where now it's only fucking 3 days later and it already seems like people have already forgot about it, because it's on to the next sensational.
Is it actually 3 days later?
Yeah,
okay, it feels fucking longer.
I'm pretty sure it's only 3 days. Yeah. It's fucked up, man.
Just goes to show, man.
Yeah, so it's just all this fucking all these. I'm trying to be, I don't know whether it's just getting older or the other shit, but I'm just trying to use a lot of reminders again and be more aware of life and use, like, you know what I mean, from the gross side of the spectrum to from that shit to the most beautiful things like the 747 warehouse creator shit, where it's just like the life can be fucking amazing.
When people come together.
Yeah, right? When people come together, look at this amazing shit that can be done. Whereas like when people,
what world do you want to live in?
Exclude a person and abuse his mental health further, it leads to creating a psychopathic fucking terrible world that now affects maybe just as many people as this, but in an even terrible way. Like, you know what I mean? So it's all about finding those reminders, man. And just fucking actually trying to be on this side of the fucking spectrum.
Fuck, no doubt, man.
Fuck.
On a fucking lighter note, though, anything else crazy going on? Like, what else you been up to?
I've been on this side of the spectrum. So
how's this side looking?
I've been
for
working
you
on
these
that creative
days?
side, which has been great, man.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know if it's just been even under like seeing some sun again, you know, a little bit extra vitamin D,
little glimpses,
you know, but just been fucking just working hard. I finally got like the vision on point of just like what I know I want to do. So when I just like wake up, there's like that purpose is back, you know.
Sick.
So it's good.
It's good to maintain that. It's so fucking so hard to balance that. I always like get on it and then I'm like off.
Yeah, dude, it's hard, man.
Yeah. Fucking, so hard to maintain.
That's for true.
If there was, I wish there was like a fucking recipe for it.
I wish there's like a a little pill I could pop every morning, and then all of a sudden I just like
the limitless pill.
You know those like 3 days a week when you're just like, for me it's like 3 days a week when you're just like,
you're good,
so on point, where you're just like,
you're like, I'm gonna be like this every day, and then the next day you're like, well, not every day. Yeah. I need to chill one day, and then it's hard to get fucking back on, man.
So if I could somehow take something and I'd be that way every day, I'd fucking do it. Give me that shit. Give me that shit. What is it? Fucking resveratrol? No, not resveratrol. Fucking what are those ones that fucking Rogan always talks about? That he's a fucking afraid of. Those fucking Nuvigil and Provigil.
What's that?
They're like these like focus fucking drugs that are like, I forget who it was.
Focus drugs?
Yeah, they're supposed to like help your fucking like it's supposed to be like Alpha Brain, but like on crack. Like it's supposed to be like almost crack, but like I'm forgetting who it was, but it was somebody that came on the show.
But FDA approved crack.
Essentially, and it was the original use for it when it was brought into place. The guy was like realized it could be used as this crazy stimulant, but he needed to find a way to get it legalized. So he
was it something he came across like accidentally?
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure on the back end of bringing it out, but he fucking, in order to get something legalized, you have to have a medical use for it. So he filed it under narcolepsy. So you go get prescribed for narcolepsy, and then all of a sudden you just take this shit and you're just like, poof, you're wide awake and you're just focused as fuck and you get everything done. And I'm
so it's the limitless pill.
And you're just like, oh, and I forget, I kind of want it, but I forget who it was on the show, and he was talking about.
Are they backing it or shit talking it?
No, Rogan was saying that he took it once before and he was scared because it was amazing. It was so good.
Like it was too much, or he was like,
no, it was so good. Like it was just like, you are ready to go. Okay, the guy is so much thought that kind of like believed in it in a weird way that when he wrote his book, he didn't write about it in his book because he was worried, quote, that he was afraid people would start taking it like candy if they found out its potential. Because it's just be that same thing where like those 3 days a week, if all of a sudden you're like, I could be like this every day.
Yeah.
Fucking give me a goddamn bottle of that every week.
Eventually you'd just be so strung out, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Or you just live till fucking 70 and you're productive as fuck every moment.
How do you get it?
They give you get prescribed for narcolepsy.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure, but there's like other like variations and forms and stuff of it. Like I need to look into it a little further because I'm kind of like, but I think it's a little too over the end because like hearing the way that they talked about it with this like lust, like where they were like
the allure of it.
Yeah, where like that was literally what he was saying, where he's like, I didn't put this in my book because I was afraid that people would start taking it like candy. Like that's how fucking powerful the shit this is. Like it's supposed to be designed like people every once in a while, like when they're like, you know, well, crazy shit when somebody's like engineering like a fucking new bridge or some shit, or like, you know, and you just need to stay awake and I'm almost there, I've almost got it. Okay, you know, but like people start using it for like studying for tests and shit like that, and then just, you know, people just start crushing it up and snorting it. That's the way
it would just become, right? It would become the new caffeine, right? People wouldn't go to coffee shops. Exactly. It would be like oxygen bars, but for that shit, you know,
Provigil, right? Like, yeah. So it's like the same kind of shit where like I'll take new fucking nootropics on often. Like fucking, I even like took some this morning fucking. But I used to take Alpha Brain all the time, so much every day, and it was crazy how well the shit worked.
Yeah, like when I took it, I had 2 bottles. So like I couldn't, honestly, I didn't know if it was a lot of the placebo effect though. I think that might be part of
like,
it. Because like I straight up like I believed in it so much that I was like, fuck, I don't know if it like.
But I almost found that it took a while for it to start working.
Yeah.
Which your body needs to attune to it anyways. But which it does with any
one thing for sure that it did was lucid dreams. 100%. Because you can't placebo that. Like, yeah. Like I would have, right? Because like lucid dreams, really there's 2 different kinds, right? So there's ones where you're in a dream and you're like, you look around or whatever and you're like, oh shit, I'm in a dream. And then you're like, sick, I wish I had a fucking bazooka, you know, and then like you can make it
them,
you can make it what you want, right? So there's like that kind of lucid dreaming, and then there's also lucid dreaming where it's just whatever it is, like how your dream writes itself. It's not you really taking control, but it's so vivid that you wake up and you remember like the craziest details. Like I would remember like having dreams of like having like backyard barbecues and remembering the feeling of the grass on my feet and like the texture of like
the grass,
like texture of like the cobblestone like path in this person's backyard, like shit. Like you would just remember the craziest details, like as if it was real, like it was a real memory. Well, that's something I 100% noticed.
I had a mixture of that where it was mainly that, but then I would go like, oh, I'm in a dream. And then I just go with it. But I wouldn't be like, creating shit too much. I'd just be going with it. But I would be aware that I'm in this
you would let it play out, but
environment kind of thing. And dude, to the craziest shit where like, this is kind of the weird part where in my fucking having to battle alongside fucking depression and anxiety and stuff through some of my darker times, all of a sudden that was my happy place.
You're like looking forward to that part of your day.
Was that I would get to go to this place that was more real and more like it just like everything was so vivid and vibrant compared to like the outside,
nasty overcast real world.
The real world where everything was starting to feel dull and like weighed down and fucking like, so it was like all of a sudden that was my zone. It was really fucked up. It wasn't. But at the same time, I was lucky enough that I was able to work out a lot of stuff in there. So I'd be able to go to sleep with this.
It'd almost be like a therapeutic.
Was, dude. I'd go to bed with this crazy internal turmoil and just fucking hating life, hating everything.
You would sort
and I'd wake up and I'd be like, all right, I just like spent like a week in whatever that place was, and now I'm good to go. Like, even though it was only a night. In my head, I'm like, I was just there for days.
Yeah, it feels longer.
But it was real as fuck.
Yeah.
And not like fast. I was just like, I was there spending some time sorting some shit out, and I remembered like the adventures and like it was fucking, and it was during heavy alpha brains, heavy like just trying to work on myself, and then you just fucking, you feel your brain go into these places and sort some shit out in its own weird way.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And apparently you can train yourself to have lucid dreams, like where you can control your dreams and stuff. And I remember talking to a friend about this a couple of years ago, and his college professor, he would talk to him about lucid dreaming, and he said his professor told him that he's like, oh yeah, I've been lucid dreaming for over 20 years, right? And then he was talking with him about it, dove in a bit deeper, and apparently his professor claims that he lives a different life.
Yeah, that's the way I felt.
And he was like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, well, this is my normal life.
Yeah,
he's like,
this is just another
professor
state
here. He's like, yeah, but when I go to sleep, he's like, yeah, like I build stuff, and he's like, I've been working on projects for years, like in my dream state. And I was like, whoa. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
it was like the first time ever hearing about it, right? And I was like, whoa, like, and then I kind of dove into it. And I was like, oh, it's a real fucking thing.
The same world.
Interesting.
The same environment, the same style adventures.
It's different rules.
Just kind of different rules. And it was very like movie-esque in the sense like where like I try to think of this world like that a lot too. Like I say this world like that one's just as real, because it is in my mind. It actually is.
Yeah.
Like I to the day believe that like that dream world is just as real as this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but like, yeah, I try to think about the fact that this movie's playing or that this life is playing out like a movie as well. I try to remind myself and that I have a little bit of control as the director, and that like, you know what I mean? And that's where a lot of that shit comes in, right? Where like
the subtle steering,
where I've kind of subconsciously realized that maybe that is a way to push into the flow state. Is that if all of a sudden you realize that you're like, today's just a scene and part of your movie. So you got to execute all those things in that scene to make sure that the fucking movie's good. So now your head's down trying to focus on your fucking character being that fucking amazing, like that you're hero of your movie. and you just went through fucking 6 hours head down working on what you're trying to do to make your fucking grand movie better.
Yeah, so you just focusing on the task at hand.
Yeah. So it's like almost like a good little forceful way of trying to like achieve the flow state shit, where it's like the showing up for work as a creative thing.
At least you showed up.
Yeah, at least you showed up. Nothing happened for the first 6 hours, but that last hour, holy shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
or
it's
that
kind of
last
like,
hour you thought of something that will help you
because
tomorrow.
You sat down to be like, I'm gonna draw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, so if it's like zoom back out of that shit again to your picture as a person, and you're like, okay, so I want to be this, like this grand scale, your movie. You want to be able to define what your character in that movie is, you. Mm-hmm. So now if you're thinking about the grand scale of it, your week of working towards this one thing, or month or 3 months, 6 months, isn't actually that long towards the big picture of shit, right?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, it's trying to find those ways to just like not be so much like fucking like thinking
it's
about,
just a different perspective.
Yeah,
I guess you could say it's a different way of looking at it.
Just like flipping shit and real. It's like the I mean, there's like many adages.
It's like being aware, but just distracted enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You can distract that portion of your brain that's going to let you get distracted by this other shit, and just like enough to let you focus.
Yeah.
And if you focus for long enough, that flow state
and
will probably just come
really
out of
like
it.
A teeter-totter state. Like it's
It's really fucking cool, man. So like I found that shit even recently to like something where it's like, okay, well, part of the grand scheme of things is I would love to have everything super clean and organized and like in a perfect place, and so that when it comes for flow, like everything is just
where it needs to be.
Right where it needs to be. So I've been doing that with my apartment again, where I'm just like super cleaning and organizing shit, and like to the point where something where now all of a sudden I thought I was cleaning for hours, and it only ended up being 40 minutes. Because I just got so in the fucking zone. And I did so much in such a short period of time, because that was all that I did.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it be, is that you haven't logged into Facebook for days, or you haven't turned on these things, or you know what I mean? You just put on movies in the background to keep a bit of that mind entertained.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't think about needing to constantly look at shit. And then you're just like, okay, get shit done. Time to draw. Time to work on these things. Time to do my emails. Time to go to work. Like, you know, like...
Yeah, I find it like, for me, it's almost a necessity to have just like that hum in the background where I put podcast, or like I'm listening to music while I'm doing something,
There's always something going on,
or I'll be listening to music and then just like I'll have the TV on playing something, and I'm not even really watching, but like it's so wasteful. I know it is, you know what I mean? But to me, I feel like it like
that white noise is essential, man.
Yeah.
And
really even if I'm listening to something that's not even what is playing, it's like it's just like that subtle movement of light and pictures is like it's part of what I need for the recipe to make the final product.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And I really do feel like it is like the fact that white noise or whatever it is enough to subdue that little portion of your brain that wants to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden it's kind of like, oh, okay, it's focusing, but then it just keeps it within this small realm, and you're able to just do your shit, whatever it is. I've been loving that one again lately, with just like fucking putting my head down and drawing like for hours on end. When you realize, I'm like, man, I just finished that 1.5-hour documentary. Next I'll watch 3 fucking documentaries and then be like, oh, I'm fucking tired.
That's why podcasts are so good. You get ones that are like 3 hours or something.
I love it, man.
Right? It's like
I'm hopping back into like finishing long fucking drawings. But what I used to do back in the day, whereas like I'd work on a drawing for whatever, you get to the 9-hour portion and then it's only like the small bit finished. But then because I'd be doing it on like computer paper, all the corners would be all fucking,
and it's like warped where your hand was from the heat, and
then it just somehow gets left in a pile, and then like dad throws it out or some shit, and then like that's just what like the story of drawing when I was a kid. Like pieces of art would just forever be lost or never finished. And now that I have my iPad though, somewhere, I'm just like legit just like each piece I've been spending like almost twice as long on every time I decide to sit down on like a new one.
Yeah, you don't have those other factors, right, to fuck it up.
Yeah, and then I can just save it, or if I don't like a layer, I can clear it and then just like go to a new layer, and like So it's been good for like alleviating a lot of that thought process where it's just like, yo,
the paper shit is brittle.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. Yeah. Like,
especially because I always had a heavy hand too.
Fuck.
So heavy hand drawing with thick pens. Every once in a while, I'd fucking do the old through a page that I've been working on for like dozens of hours, and you're just like,
yeah,
fucking a little tape through the back, maybe a little white on the front. It's all good.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're not buying like the right paperweight for the right medium that you're using, you're gonna have like those.
I had no idea.
Certain things like
I had no idea.
Even as little as like, dude, like touching the paper you're drawing on.
Yeah.
If you want to, like, if you want
when
that.
I saw your fucking posts, like where you'd have the little piece of fucking.
Oh, I tape pages. Yeah. And
you tape the paper towel to the edge of your hand. I was just like.
It helps with smearing. Helps with smearing and.
Genius.
And dude, even like when, you know, you have like blending stumps or the tortillions to blend out areas. You see people like they do it with their hands and shit.
Yeah.
Like it makes me cringe. I'm like,
oh really?
You like, it's the worst thing you could ever do.
Oh dude, I love it when Jim Lee does that shit. Do you know why?
Shit.
Well, I can imagine why, because then you're gonna have that shit on your hands for the rest of the drawing.
Well, dude, not only that, but fucking what's on your hands when you
oils
when you touch glass, dude. It's same with paper.
Yeah.
So say you touch a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
You have your pencil, your charcoal, whatever. You go over where you touched, it's gonna show a faint fingerprint or something, right? Or if you're shading, where you touched will never be as dark as where you didn't touch. It's like it's really subtle, but it's fucking there. So when people like use their fingers to blend and like rub stuff out, or they're not using paper, or they're not wearing gloves or something when they're drawing on on the paper they want to keep as like their good drawing they want to keep or sell or something, right? It's like, it's just like there's so many little things.
My existence drawing when I would start doing my fine liner work was getting rid of the white lines or the sketch lines in the background, trying to get an eraser in there, and then sometimes I'd rip the paper too.
Or when you catch it and it pulls it, and then you crinkle it.
That happened to me so many times, because that was like, you know, always been into comic book style. So I was like,
and when it happens, you're like, how did I let that happen?
And then like fucking maybe a thicker felt to get some heavy ink work, and then like that would be okay. Now let's try to get rid of that little bit, and you spent so long, especially as a kid, right? Like it's hard for you to spend that amount of time on one thing.
Yeah, you have to be like really dedicated when you're young.
And then mom buys you the cheap fucking white erasers that are too stubborn, like, and they just
or you just have like the normal fucking the pink eraser. And you do it,
big pink,
and it leaves like a fucking like an erase mark, like the color comes off or something, right? And you're like, man.
Oh man, that's just fucking hilarious.
There's so many people though that are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You guys have some real eraser problems, don't you, right?
Like, dude, that was, man, unless it's happened to you, you don't know.
Like, all of a sudden it was just like, that was your world. Certain things like that, you could just make such a difference. Fuck, man. I don't know.
Fucking first world problems, eh?
For real, right? Fucking. But I think that's about we're almost at 140 here, so fucking
you good?
Don't want to fucking drag this on too long, everybody, but it was a fucking lit podcast, fam.
That's good, man. Happy 20.
Happy 20. Fucking
20.
We're gonna be on fucking 25 in no time. Start getting some guests up in But thanks everybody for listening, watching.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll see you soon.
Enjoy your Sunday. Peace.